Hey, quickly before I get into the video, I'd like to call attention to this new style of content. I've been considering doing commentary style stuff for a while now, so here it is. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Recently, or at least I hope recently, I'm not sure when I'm actually going to get this video out, Every End by Mindcap has been rated. This actually resulted in at least some level of controversy. I've seen some argue that it should have been epic rated or at least featured, and I've seen some say that it doesn't even deserve to be rated at all. Now, the point of this video isn't to argue about whether or not it should have been rated, but rather to poke at a much broader topic that has been highly debated and contested over GD's whole lifespan, especially so over the past few years, which is what makes a level rate-worthy to begin with. My personal take is that it isn't really our place to judge what does and doesn't deserve a rate. It's up to the mods and RobTop ultimately to decide what does and does not get highlighted for the community. But alas, I wouldn't be making this video if that was all I had to say on the topic. For one, I've never understood the emphasis on the rate status of a level. Rating arguments, usually, with one key exception that I'll discuss shortly, only start over levels that are incredibly popular. This makes the matter of whether or not the level in question is rated fairly redundant, because a star rate's main purpose is to boost the popularity of a level by putting it in the featured tab and such. Sure, with a rate you can now earn stars, moons, and orbs upon completion, but this hardly matters when you're talking about extreme demons, which aren't exactly levels you're going out of your way to beat just to climb the star leaderboards. So if the main purpose of a rate is to boost a level's popularity, why does this even matter for levels that are already in heavy discussion throughout the community? Everyone knew what Tidal Wave was before it got rated. It being rated only boosted its popularity because people made such a big deal out of it not being rated sooner. I would argue that the only reason this unnecessary emphasis on whether or not a level is rated has been perpetuated for as long as it has is simply due to standards of lists like the Pointer Crate list. Something that I'm not even entirely convinced will always stay the same. I mean, what's gonna happen when Grief gets verified? There's a good chance that it won't be rated because of the whole CBF thing, but it's so big in the community that it'll be a real shame if it doesn't end up on the one list that is so heavily relied on by the community at large. The other aforementioned side of things is when and why this argument comes up for levels that are less popular. This tends to come up for levels that quote-unquote don't deserve to be rated. Every time this argument comes up, I want to plunge my head into my desk. Okay, so what are my problems with this whole argument anyway? Well, it begins with the way in which this tends to be directed. Usually hate is sent directly towards the creator of the level, and with any level of common sense, it should be fairly obvious that this is horribly toxic and nonsensical. It's not the fault of a creator if a level gets rated. Even if they pushed for a level of theirs that is undeserving to get rated by sending it to the mods, no creator deserves the level of harassment some receive when their level does get rated and the community doesn't find it deserving. And this kind of leads into my other problem, which is the fact that for some reason, we as the community hold our own subjective considerations of what it means for a level to be rated, and we apply this to others. The way we perceive a level is subjective and heavily influenced by our own preconceptions and biases, whether we realize it or not. While everyone is entitled to their own opinions, that's where it ends, their opinions, with little to no basis on anything factual or objective. There's not much you can objectively grade about a level. Hell, even difficulty has a subjectivity to it. What is my point with all of this anyway? My point is to say that rate standards aren't so concrete, and they don't ever have to be. It's such a minor thing to get upset over, and yet it seems that it's all we can talk about whenever a new level comes to light. Rate standards change and evolve over time, and they don't necessarily have any set rules. I highly doubt RobTop has a checklist that he runs every level through before he decides how many creator points should be awarded to its creator. I'm hoping that soon we can finally put an end to this endless and meaningless series of debates. And with that, that's the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you stayed for this long, I hope you'd consider subscribing, as I plan to make more like this in the future. I don't really post very frequently, so you won't have to worry about your subscriptions becoming clogged. Going off script, this video took quite a bit of time to make, so I don't know how often I'm going to be doing any of these anyway, because by the time I get some of these out, whatever topic I'm talking about is no longer going to be relevant. But we roll. Until next time, everyone.